What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Rip City Rundown podcast. This is, I think, episode 75, episode like three since we've gone in this tank downhill spiral. The Blazers are actually on like a generational take right now. Tank. Because if you look at their injury report for this upcoming game, which I think is against the Kings, Baji out, left knee surgery recovery. Grant out, left quad contusion. Dame out, right calf tightness. Nurk out, right knee soreness. Simons out, right foot soreness.
Hmm.
Winslow out, left ankle sprain. Doubtful, reddish, lumbar soreness. Watford doubtful, right ankle sprain. But yeah, we're tanking. We'll kind of talk about a little bit from the games, mainly just talk about Shaden and maybe touch on Nas here and there. But for the most part, we're going to talk off season. Probably a little
Yeah,
bit of March Madness, what we've liked from it. Some
I'm
possible
down.
draft prospects. If we
Mm.
keep the pick, that's another conversation. But I assume you haven't watched many games since we pulled the plug, like myself.
I've actually, to your probably surprise, I've watched every minute of every game.
Good
I'm
one.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, I haven't been. I've been checking in here and there. It is interesting. I like seeing Shaden play. I like seeing Nas play. But I mean, that injury list you just listed. I
Hmm.
mean, like it's like Archie Diacono plays.
Well,
I
Arch is
guess
getting some minutes.
Kevin Knox.
You see the thing I posted on the story?
No.
Supposedly, I don't play Fortnite anymore, but supposedly the OG Fortnite map is back in some form. And ever since then, Kevin Knox is averaging 10 points per game. And it's funny because he had a Fortnite suit when he got drafted. Um,
Mm.
but that's what we're talking about right now because that's like the most interesting thing.
I will. It's. I don't mind the tank to be honest, because I'd like to see where this team is after like 2 years of tanking. Like next year, I'll be very curious because let's face it, the past decade, we were a middling seed, overachieved in some years, burned out early in other years, but we were never really improving. We were just kicking the can down the road. Now we're getting, hopefully Shaden is going to turn into something like he's taking that next step right now. Maybe Shaden is having an Anthony leap like Anthony did last year. You could draw some comparisons to that.
Hmm.
Um, and hopefully, we pick in the ideally the three to
At
seven
yeah, at
range.
this point, I think we're tied for fifth best odds with the
Yeah,
Magic
Magic.
now.
Yeah, it's us, Magic, Wizards, Pacers are all kind of within a game or two of each other.
I'm gonna do you can barely see. I'm gonna do a tankathon, see where we land at the lottery live. Oh wow, we dropped all
Eight.
the way to eight.
Yeah.
Maybe just
Well,
one more time. Second.
seconds. What do they have a scoot?
I have taken Brandon Miller, which I guess makes sense since he's a small forward. But
Oh,
we'll talk some
it's a
draft prospects
yeah.
here because I actually I haven't watched the like G League prospects, so I haven't seen much of Scoot. I haven't seen like the Thompson twins, but I've been pretty locked into March Madness, and a lot of those prospects have been playing. Not many at this point with just the wild Final Four, but
Yeah.
I I think I'm more in tune than I was last year, even though
Interesting.
we probably might not be picking.
But long to just wrap up my point, I am not mad about tanking because I would like to see what this team can do with a second, hopefully, impact player in the rotation with Shaden that we drafted in the top 10. They're both on rookie deals. It'll allow for some flexibility. Like we're basically the last 2 years, like last year and this year is low key been like a stealth rebuild while also like playing under um
Kind of what the Warriors
the
did.
assumption that we're competing when in reality like we were, and things went the wrong way, whether it was just like injuries or just really cooling off after that fast start. Um but it's low-key been a stealth rebuild, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm only saying that because I hope we're at the end. Like I'm not here for another year of this. Like I
Hmm.
really, I'm not. So
Yeah,
I don't think Dame is either.
I was talking with Cody about this on last week's. He's actually now on vacation this week, but
Good for him.
I said, and I think he had the same, like he agreed with me that I think that you can't judge Chauncey or Joe at this point because Joe got given a really bad situation, and he's kind of like doing all the cleanup right now, and then hopefully this summer he's gonna like actually like go for it when he can hopefully unlock his picks. That's just a whole nother story. Just so much.
Devil's advocate, the flip side people would be saying, isn't that what we said last year? And this year was supposed to be.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like how realistic
That's
is
fair.
that? So I think
Fair.
like yeah, we kind of thought we were gonna be better this year, but we also knew we weren't gonna be a championship team. And then Chauncey has
True.
been given a bad roster last year and two tanking years. And at the trade deadline, like even though the deals weren't bad, they were bad in the sense of like we didn't get better at the trade deadline. We just kind of set ourselves
But
up better for the future.
I think when you think about it, think about the teams that are going to be picking here in the top seven. You have Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, Charlotte, us, maybe say Orlando. That's the top six.
Hmm.
We're like the only team in that group that has like a legit top 10 player when he's on and like a decent co-star in Jeremy Grant. And like we have talent. So
For
I
sure.
think like sure maybe one of Houston, Detroit, Orlando, San Antonio, they're going to go through their Houston's been in a rebuild for a long time, San Antonio kind of for at least a few years. Detroit too, like one of them is going to come out of the other side and be really good. But we're in a great position because we still have a loyal superstar. We have Jeremy, who, let's be honest, before he cooled off, was playing insane.
Hmm.
Anthony, I don't know what his future is with the team. Same with Nurk, but you're not complaining if you have to start Anthony Simons and Nurkic. I mean, maybe Blazer fans complain with Nurk, but that's more of just a repetitive thing at this point than a
Yeah.
actual like he's not good. We've had that discussion. I feel like 100 times, so we're not going to go into that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if he just Brandon Miller, say Brandon Miller, like you have Shaden and Brandon Miller off the bench, you're all of a sudden like have two guys that could be in Portland for a long time. Like obviously Shaden, I think Shaden's on a trajectory. Do you just want to talk about Shaden?
Yeah, we can talk about him. 24, 24, I think then 29
Career high 29.
in his last three, not counting the most recent game where he was like okay, I did actually watch the first quarter because I was like, okay, Shane's going off. Let me watch the first quarter before I like get ready to go to bed because it was a 10 o'clock game. And he got face guarded the whole time by Herb Jones and actually probably got like three touches in the whole quarter. So maybe I'm just bad luck, but he has like, but that's the testament to how good he had been. So
Yeah.
yeah, Shaden is, I kind of like the comparison, the Ant trajectory. He's obviously gonna have less games, but and the Ant trajectory might be ambitious for him because Ant did average like 23 last year, but I mean Shaden's if he can average like 20 points per
I
game
mean,
over these last
but
15,
think about it. Like the ever since this was like Shaden's team, what's he been averaging?
probably somewhere around 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, like you said, the Blazers were tanking for longer last year, so Anthony got some more run. But the fact that Shaden is scoring in the 20s now, when he where he was to start the season,
Mhm.
I mean, my man's got a big future, and that's one of the more underrated things about a tank, at least like tanking for the last part, is you get these players like legit experience where like otherwise if you were competing for the playoffs, Shaden and Nas wouldn't be playing as much. Like they might, but not as much, obviously. So they're getting valuable reps. Like Nas and Shaden, like combining for whatever it was. Like, wasn't it
Probably
kind of
almost
near
60.
50?
It was over 50. I
60.
think it was
Yeah.
like 28 and 27 or 29 and 28.
Yeah. Like mid 50s. I mean, that's like Damon CJ esque.
Yeah.
And I get the counter argument to that is someone has to score, and you're right, but they still have to score.
Yeah.
Like, why can't Archdiakono have 20? Like,
Um, I did just want to ask you this quickly because like we talked about it, but I never actually got it around to ask the question. But are you in the camp that if we don't have playoff success next year, that you're off the Chauncey Billups and Joe Cronin wagon? Are you still, is it kind of a depending on the situation? Is it More Chauncey than Joe.
I don't think I'm
What's your
off the
take?
train. Are you saying like
I'm saying if we end up like
no, I'm not off the train.
if we literally miss the playoffs
We're
next
gonna
year.
give Terry Stotts a decade, and we're gonna give Chauncey not even like we're gonna give him one playoff series.
Well, I'm saying if we don't make the playoffs.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the
again,
thing.
I think it just depends on what how the season goes. Personally, okay, maybe this is a question for you, or even for people watching this, they can think about this one too. Would you rather have a Terry Stotts run where you go to the playoffs every year, but you're never really a title contender, or like miss the playoffs 80% of the time, but the 20% you do, you have a title contender?
I, yeah, I would take the title contender, but
And by title contender, I mean like
yeah, I know what you mean. Just a
more than
better
our
chance than we
2019
have. I just
because that's the goal.
yes, that's the goal, but like if we miss the playoffs 3 straight years, and I hate having the conversation of like, oh, we're wasting Dame's prime, but we do. As much as I don't want to believe it, there's probably like 2 years ago we would have thought like, oh, he has 3 seasons left. Now Dame probably
No,
has like 3 seasons left.
if
So
we
like,
miss the playoffs next year and we're healthy, it's hard. I don't know if I'm off the train, but they are like
I think they are
at
on
least
a like,
Chauncey is.
and I also think like if there's no moves that are made this summer, like if we
Yeah,
run it back with the exact same roster
that would be a problem.
and just do what the Neil Olshey special of like bringing in like
That would be a problem.
aging vets like Cody
Yeah,
Zeller and say, hey, we got a backup center.
dude, it's got to be like I need a top 30 player in Portland next year.
Okay, so are you if we don't get the number 1 pick, are you trading the pick? Obviously, it's super hard to know because you have to know who you're getting, but like
If it's for Siakam, Mikal Bridges, or Jaylen Brown, yes. Or Embiid, yes. If it's anyone else, I don't know. It depends on the player, bro.
yeah.
Like, uh,
And that goes into my other question that I posed on
I
Twitter. Do you
probably
think
would.
Simons and Nurk have played their last games with the Blazers? Nurk less more of like we bring in
It's
a better
more
player.
it's more
Nurk,
likely that Nurk has, I'm assuming.
yeah, just Nurk because like we just want to move
Honestly,
on from him.
Cole,
Simons not because we want to move on
honestly,
from him,
I,
just because
I'm
he's
not,
our best asset
this
probably.
might be a horrible take, and I can be known for some bad takes, but I think Anthony Simons played his last game in a Blazer uniform. I do. Because I think
I don't think that's a horrible take.
these next however many last games we have is a literal Shaden audition.
I
And he's
think it's a
passing flying
yes,
colors.
it has to, it's because of Shaden, but I think it's a less with Shaden. It's just like
Well, it's
it's
more of
kind of like
like
how we were with
DJ.
Josh Hart in a sense. Like he's our most tradable asset. He's making
Well,
24 million and
think
he's
about it.
young and he's at a position we don't need.
You unlock your picks ideally, with Chicago. And then you get a top 6 pick this year and you put Anthony Simons on the trading block. That's a package. That's a package.
We've got a package.
What if the Celtics flame out? What if the 76ers flame out? What if the Nets like I don't honestly I think Mikal Bridges is not likely. Plus, I feel like here's where I feel about Mikal Bridges. He's so super, super good, but I feel like the Nets would ask so much for him, and I
It's
don't
kind of
think
like how OG Anunoby was.
it is. He's way better than OG, but it's kind of the same way. Like, does he really put you at the top?
Like he's so good that every team wants him, but that
That's
team knows
why
it.
he's overrated
Exactly. He's
because
like the
every team
perfect
wants him,
player that every team would need. So
which is why you would overpay. Which is why I'd probably lean Siakam Brown. Obviously, Embiid. I'd obviously lean Joel Embiid, but
look, I'm in the camp that like yes, if we don't end up with the first overall pick, the best move is to trade it. However, it is fun to like look at some prospects and see like, ooh, how would Brandon Miller slot in with this team, or how
but
would
here's the problem.
blank?
You can't. I cannot have like, oh, Blazers traded the number 6 pick and Simons for like Randall. Please no. Please
Yeah,
no.
I don't think that.
Well, I'm just
I
saying like
that could definitely be the case, but like not Randall, but like that type of player.
like that like
I don't want
unless
them to get desperate.
exactly unless it's actually a player that firmly moves the needle. By moves the needle, I mean by like a playoff round.
That's just
Like
it's so hard to find those players.
it
That's
is,
why you got to
but
root against them.
it's also hard to part ways with 4 first round picks and your guard of the future. So you
Yeah.
gotta or Would
That's
you
what
rather?
like
Would you rather trade Ant or Sharp? I think I know the answer, but
I mean, it's probably Ant, but
I think it's Ant just because
I think
Sharp
it's
has
Ant just
higher
because
defensive ceiling.
yeah, you know what you have, and like obviously Ant can get better, but like you kind of know what you have. Like you know he could be a
It
26 points
makes
per game
sense too,
score.
because like
It
every
just sucks
player,
because like Ant is
yeah,
like, well, we do this with all the guards we've had. Like we've had guards, man. We can get the guards. We like Gary Trent Jr. No one wanted to trade him. Sure, I would still love
but
to have him
like
on the team, but like Norm and
think
CJ and
chew on this. Just chew on this. Other than like Clay Thompson, because he's different. I feel like the two guards like one of the least valuable positions.
um
Like think about
yeah,
like
it probably is. Yeah, like a true shooting guard. Yeah,
you can just like think about on those Cavs teams, like you can plug in J.R. Smith
yeah.
or Shumpert, like
Danny Green on those
Royce,
Raptors teams.
like Royce O'Neal,
Like
Bruce Brown.
right now, Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton sometimes start for the Bucks.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you need to have one really good guard, you need to have two elite forwards, and you need to have a defensive
Yeah,
rim protecting center that can finish. And then you need a two guard that can knock the three down. Like what I'm saying is it's just Ant and Dame are just that redundancy again. Like I think Shaden brings a little more versatility because he's not just another guard who's gonna jack 9 threes a game.
yeah.
Like he's got the in
I
between
don't
game.
know. Like
He's got the bounce. He's got the
I th
athleticism. He's got
I
the
think
defensive
public
potential.
opinion is like, and I don't even think it's a recency bias thing. I think it's because he's making a rookie contract and he has more potential defensively. That like the public opinion is like we should keep Shaden over Ant, but I'm not opposed to shading trading Shaden in any means. Like
I
I'm
agree.
even though it is not in the full like um like well-being of us winning a championship. I want to go all in on a Damian on 2 years of Damian Lillard trying to
Exactly.
win a
I
championship,
agree.
even if it screws our franchise for 5 years. I'm at that point,
I
like,
agree.
which is probably terrible to say as a Trailblazers
Sure.
page, but I
Sure.
don't care.
No, yeah. I just think I'd be down to trade either. I think Ant would get a better package right now.
I think contract wise he would too, unless you could like if you could package like Sharp and Nurk and
But
like
that's the problem. Like Nurk at that point is like bringing the value of the deal down. And also the other thing is like
exactly.
all these like wish lists, these players that are on the Blazers wish list, like they're all in the Eastern Conference too. Like ideally you don't send Ant to another Western Conference team where he can torch you.
Yeah. I
Like
don't need, it's just like there's gonna be another player
bro,
that's
like
gonna be we're
think
gonna be
about it.
talking about like
Think
that's gonna
about
be available.
I get again, but think about like Ant in Brooklyn, bro. Okay, I have a question. I have a question for you. Would you send, I don't know about picks, whatever, just players you can fill in salary and picks if you think it's too lopsided, because I don't know what you'll say. Ant for like Ben Simmons and Finney Smith.
Not if you asked me that at the beginning of the year, yeah, not at this point. Simmons,
Okay.
we can't. I'm so glad we didn't make that deal now. Dude, I think he just got shut down for the whole
He
year.
did.
Even though like
But
that
think
archetype
about
of yeah, getting the two like I don't want to oversell Finney Smith, but like he's elite at his role,
right.
if that makes sense. Um,
And he would be an upgrade over Cam Reddish.
but like if you could get,
That's what I'm saying.
there's
But
so many
think
ways we can
about
go this offseason. That's why I'm so excited for the offseason.
but you gotta think we will be addressing the 3, 4, 5, or 3/4 and the five. You have to because
Yeah.
if the Blazers believe in Sharp, think you have Dame and Sharp with Thibault coming off the bench as your backup guard, like the
I
defensive
love
ace.
Sharp. I still think like Sharp, if we could find a way to have Sharp come off the bench, because again, he's played like 4 games of scoring 20 points. Like, I don't want to get
Yeah,
ahead of ourselves.
but again, think about it.
And
If you,
he's shown some
but
potential defensively, but he hasn't been that good defensively.
right, but if you start Sharp, but you also were able, you're sacrificing the shooting guard because you're getting rid of Ant, you're bringing in Sharp, but Ant is nets you a Siakam, a Jalen Brown, an Embiid. You don't need Shane Sharp to give you 20 points a game, bro. You have Dame
Right.
and co-star and Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, I think this two people that will for sure be on the team next year will be Jeremy Grant and Dame. I think after that,
And
it's like,
Thibault.
I think, yeah, Thibault, we definitely should bring back. I
Do you think we
really
bring
hope
back
we do.
Drew or no?
I don't know. I feel like we could have a complete, like, okay, also,
Actually,
like,
hold on.
Trendon
Better
will be on
question.
the team.
But do you care?
No. I feel kind of dumb now because, like, I kind of, like, rode for Drew and pause. That wasn't even bad. I didn't say road Drew. I said road for Drew. But like I was on his like bandwagon and for good reason. He was playing well above expectations. But like
Yeah,
now that he's had to play his starter so much of the year, like everyone's seen how bad he is, but like that's not what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to be the backup.
right. He was honestly
But
probably supposed to be like
but like he
version.
is so bad as a starter.
Yeah.
Oh my
I got
gosh.
two questions for you.
Yeah.
And you can just say yes or no, but I'm actually curious. Do you think Shaden scores 30 in a game the rest of the way? And two, do you think the Blazers win another game? Like genuinely?
Well, do we play Houston at some point?
Mm,
So I just saw quickly put up like 45. I think Shane puts up 30, and yeah, I do think we win at least one game because if
dude, I don't know.
just for the vibes, man.
What do you
Look,
mean, bro?
we
You
we
lose
play
by
the Kings
17.
twice, we'll lose both. We play the Spurs, man. If
No, okay.
we don't beat the Spurs, well, I wouldn't be mad if we didn't beat the Spurs, but it also sucks like our ceiling is the fifth spot because like the other four teams are so horrendously bad. Like we're like 7 games behind or 7 games ahead of the Hornets, which is
Are
just
we like
unbelievable.
13 games behind Houston or something?
Yeah, Houston is
Isn't
14 and
there,
a half.
isn't the way the lottery works like top, is it five or six get like boosted odds? Because
Um,
remember we like seventh last year, so our odds went
yeah.
way down.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the odds right now because I think you're right. Uh, 1, 2, and 3 have 14% chance at the first pick. 4 has a 12.5% chance. 5 has a 10.5% chance.
What's six?
It's 9. But then like there's like crazy like weird odds. Like we have the same amount probability to jump. Like we have like a 40 or 50% chance to have a top five, a top four pick or something, or top three pick. It's the odds are so weird. It's like you
Yeah.
can only jump certain ways instead of it literally just being like, I wish it was just like, okay, you have a 14% chance, you get 14 ping pong balls. You have a 14% chance, you have 14 ping pong balls.
Yeah.
And you can drop all the way to the 13th pick from the number one spot, but that's just not how it works. It would make it so much
Yeah.
easier in the math. I just wait
Simple
until
math.
whatever the guy's name
Simple
is.
pings. Simple
That's just
pings.
like, but dude, we are due, man. We dropped last year. We had the sixth best odds. We dropped to seven. And I remember
And
Dame
we
was
took
like,
Shaden.
bro, if we could jump to Vic, bro, just so we can
Okay.
get like the
So
talking
so
going in Portland.
so if I'm assuming if we get number one, we keep the
We
pick because
absolutely have to keep the pick unless you can like trade for
Embiid. Would you trade Embiid? Would you get
no,
Embiid just for the number one pick?
no. I would only do like Giannis.
Number one pick for Embiid straight up. You wouldn't do it. That's probably smart, but that's just crazy. That's the
Oh, I
amount of
know
hype on
it's
this
well,
kid.
it's like it's not just from the hype. It's from like all these are small factors, but Embiid doesn't stay healthy sometimes. Embiid's contract's big. I don't even know how big his contract is or how long it is. This guy's, we're gonna have a possible like defensive player of the year candidate from the jump for like $8 million a year for 4 years at the end of Dame's
If
prime.
we
So
get,
you can
I'm just
also
saying,
get elite players around. Like we would still have a theoretical, like obviously we won it because we're using our money on other things, but like we would have a so-called max slot next to two elite players. Even though like
dude,
okay.
if we got the
Okay.
number,
I'm knocking
if we
on
got the
wood.
number one
I am
pick,
knocking on wood right now because I have a bad history of saying things and them coming true, like Anthony Simons. If we get Victor Wembanyama, he's probably gonna like have knee injuries, just like every other big we've ever had. Hope you heard that.
I did. I hope
It's-
not.
yeah.
If we get the number one pick and he's healthy, Dame's title window is his entire rookie deal.
I was looking at okay, I'm gonna do it right now. Go back to Tankathon. I just because we currently have also like that Knicks pick. I know we're probably gonna try to trade that
Wait, so we're
to
gonna have
unlock.
two lottery picks?
No, that'll be outside the
Oh, that'll be
lottery.
outside.
Like
Correct.
right now, we have the
Correct.
fourth
Correct.
pick, Eamon Thompson, 6'7" from Overtime Elite. Then they also have us taking Maxwell Lewis out of Pepperdine, 6'7" forward. Then we also have second round picks. They got us taking Zach Edey. Please no. But like we could get a sleeper in the back half of we could get a Keontae Johnson. We could get a we could get a Dembona, Hami Hakas. Imagine we drafted Hami, man. That'd be hype.
Dude, Hami is gonna he better start learning his Chinese.
Uh there's just I always there's always like the people that stay 3 or 4 years in college, like Trace Jackson Davis also that like are really good in college and it's just like
Like Luca Garza. Actually, I'm sorry. Remember Luca
Luka
Garza
Garza.
gave us the work.
Luka Garza like is so slow though. And he also got worked by Oregon in the tournament his senior year.
True that.
Oh.
What should we talk about next?
You what are there any like I don't even want to talk about draft prospects
I
because
don't
I
either.
think it's like we're trading the pick most likely. I don't want to talk about who we should go get or anything like that.
So, because of the New York pick, we can offer that to Chicago to unlock.
Look, yeah, Chicago is even now talking about this. I saw some reporters talking about it on Twitter. And yes, and because the Chicago pick, they can only get it if it's outside the lottery. So, like, obviously, it can't be a top 14
14.
pick. So, they're just going to wait until we make the playoffs. And at this point, I feel like Chicago would just want a pick. So, we just say, take the next pick. It's going to be the 19th pick. It's pretty good for outside the lottery. And boom, take that and give us take the protections off. And boom, we have our picks back. So seems simple. And it's a great move by Joe if you can do that, because that just means we traded Josh Hart to unlock our picks, which is so stupid that we have to do that because Neil Olshey absolutely screwed us. Like instead of being able to trade Josh Hart for some valuable things, sure, first is valuable, but we are literally just trading Josh Hart. So, hey, can we get our picks back that we should have right now because we decided to
Because of
tie up
Larry
10
Nance.
years of picks because of Larry Nance? 10 years of picks?
Is it
God,
actually
Neil,
10?
it's until 2028, or which, okay, it's 8 years of picks. That is like, I don't think I understood
Peak,
how bad
peak
that was.
stupidity.
Like,
Stupidity, bro. I, I'm if you gave me a test on the cap and you gave me a test on how to be a GM, I'd fail miserably. But even I know that is a dumb move. That is a dumb move,
I just like,
as
it's really
as Cody
bad.
would say. No, I'm kidding.
What did Cody say? Dom?
No, he'd say something else that I can't say.
Okay, I don't even know what you're talking about, but well, Cody tested his knowledge on Trailblazers history. It's a great video. If you want to go watch it, go check it out. Um,
Who?
he guessed and got it right a lot, but
Dude, you know what I've been into recently?
what?
Sporkle.
That's crazy. I was in class today and I was bored and I was doing a Sporkle quiz.
I did one yesterday. Bro,
I
just
did
on
one
just
on
on a wavelength, brother.
March Madness
Wait,
stuff,
no.
not NBA stuff. But I
So
mean, I'm just gonna get back into the NBA come playoff
So
time.
let me just get this straight, just so I know where you stand come the summer. You are other than the Victor show, you are traded the pick for talent that is more in the win now.
Yeah, I'm in literally like do
Just whatever you can. Oh,
trade whoever you want
I
to
know what
get
we need to
win now
talk about.
pieces.
I know what we need to talk about.
Sell your soul.
Okay. We need to talk about the scumbag Shams.
Oh,
Um, well, more about how you were saying he put out a thing that Dame might leave this summer, even though this is the same guy.
it'll be a really bad cliff when Dame leaves, but
You think he leaves?
no,
No. Come on, man.
no,
Dude,
no,
if Dame leaves
no.
and I'm preaching to the choir that he's gonna stay and he leaves, that's his problem, bro. Again, I literally watched the Evan Turner pod the other day, and
The
I'm not
JJ
trying to
Redick
guilt trip
pod, like
him,
how
and
many pods does he have
I'm
to
not trying
do?
to guilt trip Dame into staying. Again, he has earned his right to do whatever he wants. But my man has been talking a lot about staying, so I don't think it'd be a good look for him if you left now, and I think he knows that.
Yeah, no, he's
I'm
not
not.
gonna leave. And then
No,
like
no. But Shams.
Chris Haynes gets the damn news. Remember, Shams literally gets like news only from the Warriors front office because in all seriousness, we can't trust Shams with anything with the Blazers now because he was the one that misreported that entire Gary Payton the second situation.
Well,
Oh my
and
gosh, I put it
do you
on
think
Twitter.
he
I
could
wish I
see?
could.
Do you think he could
Okay,
see?
stop. We're not going down that road, dude. I hate that we had to deal with that whole Gary Payton second situation because I liked him last year, but I can't look at him without thinking like, wow,
Damn,
you
he's
are
hot.
so greedy.
Yeah,
And you literally just like cheated the business of the NBA, which like sure, props to you, you finessed, but like you
true.
suck. God, Matisse is so much better. Just like Matisse is happy. Matisse is like
And he's from
nice.
the Pacific Northwest,
Matisse is
or at least went to
nice.
college there.
Matisse is like grateful. Hear
Well,
that?
yeah.
Hear that, Gary? Grateful. You ever heard that word? I'm kidding.
Gary's grateful that he's back in Golden State. I'll tell you that.
He is. Yeah, he definitely is.
Dude, that was tough, dude. Imagine you're on the Blazers like medical team and you do nothing wrong, and all of a sudden this Shams guy comes
So
reporting out of
stupid.
his butt, and
It's
he's in bed
it's
with Bob
it's
Myers.
dude. We lost
No,
mon.
that's like a
We
term.
okay. Yeah. Okay. We lost
That's a term.
monetization. We got it back.
No, that's a term.
I know it's a term, and I'm making the joke now.
No, I was also might have been doing that, but it's a term that means that they were colluding together.
Yeah.
They were
Sorry. Just what we talked about off camera.
they were they were colluding.
You could probably find somebody that tweeted something along the lines of what we were thinking. But yeah, okay. Shams is dumb.
Yeah, that was brutal. Um, honestly, you know what annoys me? This is an off the trail take that we're kind of diving away from Blazers here, so I'm not going to go
But yeah, me and
too much
Cody
into
went
it.
deep and off the trail last week for the last like 15 minutes just for no reason.
Really,
Yeah,
but there's no accountability in the media, bro.
there isn't.
No, you can say whatever you want and you
Like
can lie
Kendrick
as much as you
Perkins.
want.
You see the thing with JJ and Kendrick Perkins a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago?
bro. Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins is just not a good.
Stephen A.
No, I did it. No, I did it. No, I did it. Have you seen the clip where he's like Kendrick Perkins? What do you think Luka Doncic is doing is doing to Chris Paul right now? And he goes, just starts barking.
Yeah, he's weird. I don't know. I don't really understand the
I
highlight
don't even
yesterday.
know what that had to do. Yeah, no,
JJ, I love the old
JJ's
man at the
great.
three though. He's
No, yeah,
fantastic.
it's a good
And you know
God.
what's weird? It's almost like he's a former player. He has like
Former
actual
players get
perspective.
it, and like
Although Kendrick
he
Perkins is
actually takes the player side. Yeah, Kendrick is a former player somehow,
K
but
dot.
he had a nickname. He was worthy enough for a nickname.
No, that's Kendrick Lamar's nickname. You just said Kendrick, so I just
Oh,
think of when I
I'm
hear
dumb. Yeah, I
Kendrick,
know that.
I think of Lamar, not Perkins.
Wait, you don't? You
Crazy, I
don't know
know.
Kendrick Perkins? That
KP,
is wild.
KP.
Um, I
Yeah.
don't even know if we'll drop a pod next week unless some crazy Blazer stuff happens. Just because, like, we're gonna talk about the same thing. We're at the point where, like,
Well,
now we can really only talk about the off season because our season's over.
it's the off season.
Which I'm not even, again, I'm not even mad about. Like,
No, I'm actually. This is
I'm
a
pretty mad. I
tough.
want to see
This
Dame in
is
the playoffs,
a
man.
tough. Would you rather? But would you rather make the plan, lose in the plan, or get the five pick?
Yeah, no, much rather get the 5 pick. I'm glad we pulled the plug when we did
It is
because,
sad to see Dame get shut down, though.
yeah,
It's devastating, man.
it's tough. Okay, buddy. We're gonna live. At least he didn't get shut down before the
Speaking of
Atlanta
live,
game this
speaking
year.
of live, the Masters,
Yeah, who likes golf on this thing? Because I'm pumped.
dude, I'm
Bro, you know
pumped for
Ricky
golf.
Fowler's not going to be in the Masters
Yeah, did you see the odds for it?
unless he wins the Valero this week.
Who do you think wins? Think Scotty goes back to back?
No, no, I think wins West.
Rory?
He's getting hot right now. I got to
Jordan
ride with
Spieth.
Rory. Actually, Jordan Spieth won on the Easter Sunday in 2021, 2022. That's
Saw
Easter
that.
Sunday 2023. There's so many guys I want to see win. It's unbelievable.
You want to
Like
see any live guys win or not? Like Cam Smith,
if I saw a live guy, I wouldn't even be mad if a live guy won. Like I'll be
like
rooting against
DJ.
them. Yeah, like I wouldn't be mad if DJ won, or like imagine if Bryson won. That would be insane.
He plays it as a par 69, so or sorry,
It's
par
dude,
67.
his fall off is insane.
Dude, you that
I
speaking
just
of,
watched his
dude,
the major documentary on the 2020 US Open the other night. He was
dude
so
has the
good.
same odds to win as Tiger.
Bryson?
Yeah.
It's kind of wild. Tiger has much better odds. I genuinely think that.
The top five, it is
Oh, I think Jason Day could win too.
he could Rom is number one.
For
Uh
good
then
reason.
it's
I think it's Scotty.
it's
No, it's Rory.
it's Rom, Rory, Scotty,
Yeah.
somebody I forgot, and then Jordan's five. JT six. It might be like Xander or something.
Let me see.
Dude, did you watch live from the Kill House after the match play?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about Jason Day, who he might win.
Yeah. I was watching that.
Bro, did
It
you
was Cam
see?
Smith as the third best odds or fourth best odds.
I meant to maybe I should talk to you about this off camera, but one of the jokes that Neil made, bro, so funny.
Yeah, I think we can end it right here. We're done with the Blazers. If you like golf, like maybe tune into an off the trail. Maybe we'll do an off the trail about the Masters like after it or before it because golf is really fun to talk about. But
Do you want to do off the trail with me this week?
I don't know if I can because I'm actually
Okay.
speaking of golf, I think on Thursday I'm going to Top Golf. And then tomorrow I have like something I have to do. And then
I
Friday,
played
oh,
golf
I
yesterday.
didn't tell you. I'm going to the Judah and the Lion concert
When?
Friday night. It's in Greensboro.
Oh, nice. I will be driving
Cole Long
down to
invited me.
Jacksonville because the season opener is on Saturday.
Hype. All right.
And then I'll see you
That'll
the
be it.
following week.
And we will see you guys next week. Uh, maybe. At least probably for an off the trail. Peace.
Yes.